Do we have a quorum?
I am checking right now. I believe so, but let me just do a quick count. Yes, we do have quorum, Madam Chair. You may start the meeting.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Regional Domestic Violence Council meeting. That's of May 13th, 2021. Let's call the meeting to order. My name is Anita Norton. I am a councilwoman with the City of El Mirage and the new chair of this council. I would like to introduce our new Vice Chair, DC Ernst with Phoenix Fire. Is she here? Okay. I have a couple of announcements to make. Members should know that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on YouTube as a way for members of the public to participate. Please keep that in mind as you comment. I will ask that you keep your microphones on mute when you are not speaking. For the purposes of the meeting minutes, I ask that you state your name before any comments so that we have your comments on record. For the action items, we will be taking a roll call vote. I will ask staff to call out the council names and then ask how you vote. Finally, I have an update regarding the chat function. We operate our public meetings in full transparency, giving the public access to committee meetings, materials, and discussions. The public cannot view the chat comments. As a result, we are disabling the chat feature in all committee meetings moving forward. If you need technical assistance during the meeting, please contact the helpline at 602-452-5095 or contact the MAG staff assigned to the meeting. We appreciate your understanding and helping to maintain transparent discussions for the benefit of the public. Let's move on to introductions. I will ask staff to call each member's name and ask you to introduce yourself and your organization. Let's start with our new members. Please provide an introduction.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council. So let's start with our new members, and feel free to provide an introduction to the council as you announce your name and the organization or city that you represent. So first we have Council Member Tammy Caputi.
That's the thing about having a C last name. I always get to go first. I love it. So Councilwoman Tammy Caputi, I was just newly elected and took office this most recent January. I have a women's studies degree from Wellesley College and a keen interest in women's issues in general. So I'm really excited to be joining this this group, and I am just all ears today. Can't wait to hear what we're going to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Our next new member, we have Councilmember Christine Ellis.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christine Ellis, and I am a council member in the city of Chandler, also newly appointed, not actually appointed, I did run and I won big time in Chandler. So it was a great moment for all of us. Diversity is being shown here in Chandler and we're so happy about it. A little bit of my background, I am a psych nurse. I have been in that field for over 20 something years. One of the things that I'm really passionate about is helping people into their mental health issues that they are really going through. So we always look at domestic violence as one of those areas where mental health should definitely be a component to help people navigate what they're going through. I have lived in Chandler for 34 years. I've always been civically very much involved in my community, but this was a curve. When I decided to run, it was totally something that I felt on my heart that God wanted me to do, and here I am serving the people of Chandler. I'm enjoying every moment of it. My goal is to be on this panel with you to understand what's going on in our region. How can I lend my ears, first of all, to listen, and then second, my voice to make an impact into what's going on in our district. I'm more like I will say more the community itself on one-on-one with people, and then take it up to the legislature. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Welcome to the council.
Thank you.
We have another new member, Council Member Jerry Friedel. Is it Friedel or Friedel?
Friedel. I'm glad to be with you all. I am newly elected council member in the town of Fountain Hills, and Years ago, the town was represented on the Domestic Violence Council, and for several years we haven't been. So when I saw the opportunity there, I thought it would be good for me to jump in and bring us up to speed on what's going on and understand the impact that domestic violence has today and learn some new things that we can bring back to our town here. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, thank you and welcome. Another new member we have joining today is I'm Bridget Peterson Mayor Bridget Peterson. She may not be joining us today. Okay, we'll introduce her at the next meeting. Sergeant Kelly Shore is also a new member. Sergeant Shore, are you on? Okay, we also have Melissa Thomas is a new member. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Melissa Brickhouse Thomas. I am the manager of victim services for the Glendale Police Department. I've served in this capacity. I'm going on my 15th year here with the Glendale Police Department. And I'm replacing Lynette Pompa, who works with the Glendale Fire Department and their crisis unit. And so we're pretty close partners with the fire department. And so it seemed like a good transition. And I'm really excited to be part of this because I have a passion for victim services and more specifically domestic violence issues in our county.
Great, thank you. And then our other new member is our new chair, Councilwoman Anita Norton.
Hi, thank you. So I'm a councilwoman in the city of El Mirage, appointed first in November of 2017, then ran for election 2018, and I'll be running again next year. I'm a former Phoenix police officer, and then I also have, for the last 19 years, I've been a writing instructor, and for the last 15, specifically with therapeutic writing for children and adults with special needs. Domestic violence has always been on the forefront. We have a program in El Mirage that we created several years ago in 2018, and we do forums bringing information from various organizations. Bloom 365 is one of them, and then ACES, regarding domestic violence, teen dating violence, suicide prevention, so and other topics. And so this just fits in so well, and I think we have an opportunity to create some real positive change and be able to, really get a handle on this throughout all of our communities. Not just one community can do it. This is a statewide and countrywide, actually, but we'll start locally. So thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to serve as chair. This is my first time, so hopefully I will do a good job for you all.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That includes all of our new members. So now I'll go through the rest of the membership. If you can please introduce yourself, your name and organization. Celeste Adams, are you here? Zach Altman. Zach, yeah, I think you're on mute. No, try it again, Zach. I see, so we can reflect. I do see Zach. It looks like his audio may not be working, so we can reflect for the minutes that Zach is on the line. John Bellotti, are you on?
Let's see.
No, okay. DC Ernst, are you on?
No.
Hello, it's DC. I'm with the City of Phoenix Fire Department. I oversee the crisis response program, and I'm glad to be back in these meetings. Thank you.
Great, wonderful, thank you. Laura Guild.
Yes, Laura Guild with the Arizona Department of Economic Security.
Wonderful. And Elizabeth Herbert.
Hi, Elizabeth Herbert with the Chandler Prosecutor's Office.
Thank you. Samantha Hinchy.
Hi, Samantha Hinchy with Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence. And my pronouns are she, her, hers.
Wonderful, thank you. And I believe we have a proxy today for Mary Lynn Kasanek, is that correct? Is anybody attending for Mary Lynn today? Okay. Patricia Clark. Andrew Lefevre.
Hi, good afternoon. Andy Lefevre, I'm director for the Arizona Criminal Justice Commission. We run the state victim compensation program. So thanks, glad to be here.
Thank you. Rick Lavis.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Rick Lavis with Phoenix Police, and I oversee our domestic violence unit here at the Family Investigations Bureau.
Thank you. Rachel Mitchell. Amy Offenberg.
Hi, I'm Amy Offenberg. I'm a prosecutor with the City of Phoenix.
Thank you. Gerardo Pena. And I believe we have a proxy today for Chris Charlo. Is that correct?
Yes, my name is Anastasia, and I'm with CARE 7, and I supervise our victim services program.
Thank you. And Brandon Wilson.
Hi, my name is Brandon Wilson. I'm a detective in the Family Crimes Unit at the Gilbert Police Department.
And is Sarah Youngblood on? Okay. And then, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Brandy, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Zach, thank you. We got you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Christina Blea for Aaron Yabu.
Hello, Christina Blea with the City of Phoenix Human Services Department and the Victim Services Division.
Thank you all. Did I miss any council members?
Sorry, I got in late, Brandy. It's Celeste Adams and Save the Family.
Hi, Celeste. Thank you. All right. We do have quorum, and back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to the call to the audience. Please note that members of the public were given an opportunity to submit written comments relating to this meeting to azmag.gov/comment within 1 hour of this posted start time for the meeting. Brandy, has staff received any comments?
No, we have not.
Okay, so then we'll continue on to item 3, approval of the meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 1st, 2020?
Madam Chair, this is Andy Lefevre. I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Madam Chair, this is Brandon Wilson. I second that motion.
Okay, thank you. Call for those in favor, opposed, and abstentions. Staff will conduct a roll call for the members' vote.
Okay, thank you. We have a large council, so bear with me here. Celeste Adams.
Aye.
Zach Altman.
Aye.
Councilmember Bandon. I don't believe she's on. Okay. Oh,
Aye.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, I missed you. We have you as an aye. Councilmember Caputi.
Aye.
Councilmember Ellis.
Aye.
DC Ernst.
Aye.
Jerry Friedel.
Aye.
Councilmember. Thank you. Laura Gild.
Aye.
Elizabeth Herbert.
Aye.
Samantha Hinchy.
Aye.
Andy Lefevre.
Aye.
Lieutenant Rick Lavis. Lieutenant, are you still on?
I'm sorry. Yes, aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Norton.
Aye.
Amy Offenberg.
Aye.
And Anastasia for Chris Charlo.
Aye.
Melissa Thomas.
Aye.
Brandon Wilson.
Aye.
And then Christina for Aaron Yabu.
Aye.
Thank you. Did I miss any council members? Okay. Thank you so much. The motion passes.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4. I would like to welcome Nancy Parker from DES, who will provide a presentation on the Arizona Abuse and Later Life Grant. Nancy?
Hi, everyone. Oh, good. You guys are screen sharing for me. Can you hear me? Okay. Some of you may have been on the council, several years ago. I know I did a short presentation about a grant that we were applying for. The third time was a charm. We were awarded this grant last year, and we are in the midst of planning the first year of the grant. And it is the, let's get to the next slide. The Office of Violence Against Women has awarded us a grant in the Abuse in Later Life program. And it is a cooperative agreement. So what it means is that they will be helping us along the way, teaching us. Right now we're doing a needs assessment, and the primary goal of this grant, as you can see, is to make us more effective and coordinate better the response that we have for seniors who may be in abusive situations. And so the grant is basically helping public and private agencies through training and through cooperation with each other so that we can, as I said, increase our effectiveness. Next slide. And how are we going to do that? OVW is going to conduct training to support instances of abuse and domestic violence against seniors. And it's going to help us in our community response through cross-training for all of these organizations. It's kind of a big lift, but I think especially after this year where we're all on Zoom and doing a lot of things virtually, I personally would like to see this kind of broaden beyond Maricopa and invite whoever, and especially rural communities, tribal communities, to participate in some of these trainings that we'll be offering probably starting next year, which is year 2 of the grant. Next slide, please. So we have a bunch of multidisciplinary partners. We had to have an MOU. We had to have very specific partners kind of agree to participate in this. And MAG is certainly, the Domestic Violence Council is one of our partners. The Arizona Attorney General's office, the county sheriff, the county attorney's office, Mary Lynn's group, the Area Agency on Aging, both as a service provider for elders, as well as her DOVES program. So you see it's kind of, our partner group is large. The idea is that we're going to hit, judicial, prosecutors, law enforcement, et cetera, to participate in all of these trainings. And so the idea is that we will, I know a lot of people are already doing things, but some of the idea is to kind of make us not only more aware of it, but to start working a little more closely together and aligned. Next slide, please. So currently we're in year 1. And a number of us, Brandy, Laura, I, several people from DES have participated in what's called new Grantee Orientation, basically kind of outlining what the flow of the next couple of years are going to be. We also have been participating in multidisciplinary team meetings with several of our partners. And basically, we're just kind of talking about where we're at, what we're doing, what are our goals? And so we're meeting on a monthly basis. And currently, right now, we are doing a needs assessment, which is our first year kind of assignment. And I can tell you, we've gotten amazing response. Our multidisciplinary team has been very helpful in telling us where we should be targeting our surveys. So the survey has been sent out to organizations, such as Area Agencies on Aging, and then it's also been sent to individuals. And so right now we are in the process of collecting all that data. We've had a tremendous response. I think it will be really remarkable when all the data is in, which is what we're currently doing. We're sitting here, collecting all the data from the surveys to see what does our area really look like in terms of elder abuse or elder needs, and how we respond to it. Next slide. Oh, that's it. Okay. Anyway, so I don't know. I mean, I certainly will hope to answer any questions. I'm the grant coordinator for this grant. So I'm not a program person. So Laura and Brandy may want to hop on here, but you know, we basically are looking to, you know, take the community response and just strengthen it and make it as effective as it possibly can. And so that's where we're going with this. Probably, as I said, assuming everybody starts to move into more normal, there's going to be train the trainer opportunities. We're going to be bringing trainers here. We're going to have training meetings of our own, and it will be for all of those different areas. As I said, law enforcement, prosecutors, you know, judicial. So hopefully we'll have more to report in the next, say, 6 months or so, when we know for sure what's going to happen. We had a call today and they basically want us to kind of sit tight, and we're hoping that come October, we'll be able to actually start scheduling some things.
Thank you, Nancy. Are there any questions or comments from members?
No, Madam
This
Chair.
is DC.
Oh, you go ahead, member.
Hi, I'm sorry. This is DC with the Phoenix Fire Department. Do you are you guys connecting with any of the crisis response programs in the county to get our perspective on the needs of elderly, potentially even after hours?
DC, this is Laura. I can try to answer that question. Actually, we're still in the process of doing a survey. We had, the grantors gave us a specific survey, one for organizations and one for individuals. So that's the one we're using. Primarily, our response from organizations has been from those that work with directly with seniors, not necessarily those that are larger, such as a crisis response that might interact. So if you have, there's still time to send, Brandy has the organizational survey on a Survey Monkey, and we're still in the gathering stages. So if we can send that out to your organization, any others that you would recommend, we'd like to have that kind of input. So that goes beyond just the service network of those working specifically with late life. Thank you for asking.
I have a question.
Thank you. I would believe that most of my other colleagues in crisis response would also be interested in receiving that survey so that we can give you a view of what we face after hours when we come across individuals who are victims of elder abuse. Thank you.
And is there another comment or question?
I have a question, Madam Chair. This is Councilmember Christine Ellis.
All right.
I have had extensive experience with the seniors, because that was my background, and the business also have owned. There are about maybe 2 or 3 organizations that I know of who oversees the assisted living world, whether it's the home or the centers. And we know that through that process, they always receive clients, including myself, used to receive clients from the ER who have been going through an abuse situation, whether with caregivers or also with their spouse. Is there a way I can also get this survey so that I can send it to those top organizations? We have ALHA, we have Alpha, and then also ALHO. Those are the main 3 top ones here that we are used to in whether in the East Valley or the West Valley.
Madam Chair and Council Member Ellis, I would be happy to send that survey link out, and DC, I will send that to you as well. In fact, I will send the survey link out to all of the members of the DV Council, and if you have organizations that you would like to forward that survey link to, then you are more than welcome to do that. We, as mentioned, we have received a great response so far, but the more responses we can receive to that survey, the better. So absolutely encourage you to forward that on to any partners or organizations that you have. And I also just wanted to thank Nancy and Laura for being diligent in submitting the grants for the past 3 years. I'm excited that we've received this. And in addition to the survey and sharing the survey link, I'm also interested in hearing from the council about other ways that you would like to continue to be informed about the grant as we move through the process, or how you might like to otherwise be involved.
So with that question posed by Brandy, I don't know if anyone has any ideas now, but it's something that they can email you if they have at a later time.
Yes.
Are there any other comments right now on this? Okay. All right. Thank you, Nancy, very much for presenting that, and look forward to all of us that can to work with you on this and do all that we can to help in this area. So thank you so much. Let's move on to item number 5. And next is a presentation from a new leaf on the DV Heart Project. Lena Jones will be giving this presentation. Welcome, Mrs. Jones, or Miss Jones, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time. I am filling in for my director at a New Leaf for sexual services and domestic violence services for a New Leaf. I am Lena Jones. I am the supervising coordinator for the DV Heart program, which is one of the newer programs. Now, I shouldn't say the newest, but the newer programs for a New Leaf. We were awarded from the Family Youth Services Bureau back in September. We received some funding, and also we work with technical assistance providers at SSAPC, and they are promising futures, and they are working very closely with us as we started implementing and planning this program, which we call DV Heart. DV Heart stands for Domestic Violence Healing, Engaging, and Resiliency Training. And those are the goals that we have within the program, consist of addressing the needs of parents and children exposed to domestic violence, helping them heal while strengthening the parent-child bond, building resiliency, and preventing future violence. Those are our goals in a nutshell. We are using 2 curriculums to address the needs of the non-abusive parent and child. The 2 curriculums we have chosen to work with are Triple P America and A Windows Between Worlds. Triple P America is a parenting class that is offered to parents of different cultures. They're very sensitive to different cultures and languages. And they are putting the skills of parenting back to the parent as we build their confidence, as we are there to support them, to build those bonds with the children and helping them in feeling more prepared in parenting, especially after they go through the domestic violence that they have endured and the circumstances that they're in. A Windows Between Worlds is an art program, and it is a therapeutic art program that we mainly use with the children, but we do also use with teens and adults. And it is a way for them to heal and to find a space to create, as it gives them some time to heal with what has happened in their lives, especially as we go and provide this opportunity for them. We also are partnering with the Family Involvement Center, and they have 3 staff members who have also been trained with Triple P. I myself and the coach have also been trained and accredited for Triple P America, as well as myself and my coach are with A Windows Between Worlds. We're also accredited to do both, and we are both bilingual. We work with VIC, and that is helpful in that it allows us to have more facilitators. And so it reaches different areas of Arizona, broader. It allows us to touch the West Valley, even Ahwatukee, different areas by allowing more facilitators to be in place. I also do want to say that we are rolling out this program in 3 phases. The first phase is we are rolling them out within the DV shelters within a New Leaf. And as we're rolling these out, we have had to really be flexible and creative, especially with COVID. So we are one of the first programs to go out there in person. We had made the choice to do this in person because we felt that that is what these families were in need of. They were in need of connection again. And so we were able to facilitate this. We are following obviously all the protocols and precautions that we can as we are rolling out these services to the shelters within a new leaf. And one of those shelters also is CAFA, and CAFA will become part of New Leaf starting July 1st. They will be officially a part of a new leaf. So that's the first phase, will be what we are currently in right now. The second phase will be rolling it out to the DCS foster care within our agency. And then the third part of that phase will be taking it out to the community. So working with schools, law enforcement, we are always welcoming and looking for partnerships in this. We know that domestic violence is a large and difficult circumstance, and we need more people involved in this work. And we appreciate all of the hands that can help us with this. Also, I will say I have Cricket Mitchell with me today, and she is our evaluator and has been instrumental in the work that we are doing and in preparing for the data collection and just in the preparation that goes into rolling out a new program. And I don't know if you guys have any questions for me. I'm happy to touch base on that. I also wanted to give Cricket a little time to talk about anything I might have missed. If she'd like to jump on, I'm going to tag her, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Also, I will be happy to put in my contact info on the chat if that helps for anyone who wants to reach out to me.
Thank you,
Are there
Lena.
any questions or comments? Cricket, hi.
Oh, hi. I was going to say thank you, Lena. I think you did a great job. I think one of the things I'll add is the two programs that a New Leaf has selected for the DV Heart program are both evidence-based. And so really working hard to bring what we know works through research evidence to our local families. So excited to move this program forward.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions by any members about this item?
Madam Chair, I don't have a question, just a comment, and thank you, Lena and Cricket, for presenting. We aren't able to share your contact information, Lena, in the chat, but I do have your contact information, so I'm happy to share that in my follow-up email to the council after the meeting.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I have one question for you, Lena. You mentioned you're working in the West Valley. Is there any place that you're not able to go to at this point right now?
Currently, I know that Family Involvement Center had done some switching around with some staff, so I wasn't quite sure on what areas they're ready to cover for us. But I know that they had mentioned the West Valley, and of course, we also have domestic violence shelter in the West Valley in Glendale as well. Mm-hmm. So as of right now, I'm going to say Northern Arizona is probably where we're trying to get some good people over there. But again, Family Involvement Center is working with some staff as well. So.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. I look forward to more involvement with New Leaf on this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for presenting that. And thank you, it's her name, Christina?
Cricket.
Cricket. Okay, Cricket. Thank you very much. Okay, if there are no other comments, we'll go on to the next item, number 6, which is a discussion on the areas of focus for the DV Council. A handout was included with the meeting packet that included the areas of focus and opportunities developed by this council pre-pandemic. I'd like to have a discussion with the council today to check in with you to see if these are still our primary areas of focus or if we should recalibrate. I would also like to set priorities with the council on the areas of focus and seek input on critical partners to connect with for the priority focus areas. At this time, I would like to open the meeting up to get your input. And I believe, Brandy, were you going to put that up on the screen so they can see?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am going to share my screen now. Give me just a moment. Okay, can you see my screen?
I see it. I think is everyone else able to see this?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. So if the council likes, I would be happy to walk through the areas of focus. And as a reminder, these areas of focus were developed in late 2019. So since we developed the areas of focus and discussed opportunities for the council, the pandemic hit. We have new leadership on the council, and we have several new members who have joined the council. So the chair and I thought it would be a good time to revisit these areas of focus and see if these still resonate with the members of the council, or if there are new areas of focus or new opportunities that have come up that weren't in place at the end of 2019 when we first developed these. So I'll go through, there were three main areas of focus that were discussed. The main categories are training and education, prevention, and then coordination and collaboration. So within those areas of focus, there were different topics that the council thought were very important to focus on. So in the area of training, those topics include training specifically for judges, and the opportunity there was to increase the number of judges that are trained in domestic violence related issues and cases. Also, new techniques for investigators to increase the number of investigators that are trained to respond to domestic violence, training for new officers to respond to domestic violence, and then protocol response training for officers on the protocol. In the area of prevention, we had engage in prevention activities to educate youth, and the opportunity there was to decrease the number of domestic violence incidents. In the area of coordination and collaboration, we have to increase coordination and collaboration opportunities and increase prevention efforts. To track coordination and collaboration that's taking place across the region, to coordinate and collaborate with DCS and judges to increase coordination there, and then to share best practices and resources as those are made available throughout the region. So those are our three areas of focus and opportunities. One that was not in place that comes to mind now that we could add to this would be the Ovw grant that was awarded. The DV Council is written in as a partner in that grant. So I would see that given your approval to fit underneath the coordination and collaboration area as another opportunity since that grant was funded. So that's an area that we can add to this, but want to turn it over to the council to get your feedback and input on, are these still the areas of focus that we should be focusing on? And if you are aware of other opportunities that should also be considered. So I will pause there and then hear your response.
So I would like to add something on the prevention. I think on the training and education, it's great that we're covering the investigators, judges, officers. On prevention, engage in prevention activities to educate youth. I think that we need to actually include educate youth and the parents, adults, because teen dating violence can start at a very young age, but we can educate children, but if we haven't educated the adults, they're going to miss the signs. And that happens way too often with really horrible consequences. So I think that we need to actually modify that and have it to educate youth and the parents. and even adults. I don't just say parents, but adults. It could be other family members, it could be neighbors, and grandparents and so forth. So I think that we would really be missing the boat if we don't gear in on that aspect of that.
So if I might, this is Samantha Hinchy from ACES DV. I think that's a great idea. We recently did a podcast for the city of Chandler, for their, well, not the city of Chandler, but the city of Chandler Unified School District. And we had over 800 people listen to that podcast. And that was parents and students and people that work in the school districts and just people in Chandler in general. And I'm wondering if there are other school districts in Maricopa County that have that sort of platform. And I just think, I felt like it was 30 minutes. It was really easy. It was great. We were asked to come back and do it in Spanish. And so just wondering if anyone knows, or if that's something that we could research to see if there's any other school districts that might have that sort of platform to reach out to, I mean, that's a large amount of people, 800 people. So, and we did 2 segments. We did one about domestic violence just in general, and then we did one about teen dating violence. And so just putting it out there.
Sam, were those, you said they were 30-minute podcasts?
They were only 30 minutes. So we drafted the questions that we had the facilitator ask, just because we knew what the questions kind of should be, because we only had 30 minutes. And so she made the questions her own, but they were along the lines of what we asked. So that's pretty much all people have the attention span for, really, and stuff. So we all thought that 30 minutes was a good time frame to have that discussion. I mean, you're getting just a little bit of like a bite, but you're hooked, and you're going to do more research and all of those things. So
right, that sounds like an excellent idea, especially with the pandemic, and we still have restrictions. People, we're not ready to have that many people gathered in one place. Are there any other comments about that particular item, the podcast? Anyone else have any comments on anything else with this?
Madam Chair, this is Councilmember Christine Ellis in Chandler. I love those 3 categories. I'm a big believer in influence the influencer. And in this context, I was looking, I don't know where we could put it, but if we can lend our voice to those who make our laws, and because there are a lot of laws on the book right now that is not in favor of victims. It's true that we can educate our judges, but if the judges' hands are tied, if they are really only bound by the law to jurisdicate in the way that they're supposed to. And I know one particular area is when a mother has their children and they are put into a shelter, and there's nothing on the book right now to allow them not to be in contact with the perpetrator at that time, just because that perpetrator can say, I want to see my children. And so I know that there are organizations out there who are working on putting something like this on the book as far as the law is concerned. So I would love to see us within these 3 categories find a place where we could put the fact that as a board, we can try to influence what's happening downtown in the area of victim advocacy and laws on the book to help them out.
Are there any comments regarding her suggestion? Okay, I like your idea. What I'm wondering is, and maybe Brandy can help us on this, how could we go about doing that, Brandy? Have meetings with some of the various representatives and legislators, or what is there that we could do to actually facilitate that?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the suggestion. I can think of a couple of ways we could respond to that request, and could certainly add it to one of our areas of focus. We could look at the different policies that are in place. and see how we might impact, influence, encourage certain policies. Another option would be partnering closely with ACES-DV, and I know Samantha is on the in the meeting. I know ACES is an advocacy group, so we could certainly partner with ACES-DV around advocating for certain laws or legislation, policy areas. Samantha, I don't know if the coalition is tracking those and perhaps could present back to the council like a legislative update or important policy or laws that we should be looking at.
So I'm actually going to be giving a legislative update today. We have a new policy person who just started, and she got me something for this meeting so that I could update everyone, just because it's been so long since we've met. We've had, the legislature is the legislature, and so it's hard to get stuff passed, but we're working constantly. And so I'll be giving an update about that and what we've been working on this year, if that's okay. But I'm more than happy to do that every single meeting, if that's something that we want to do moving forward, just so that everyone knows and how they can be involved with the bills that are happening. Obviously, the legislature is coming to an end, and so we'll be working on budget stuff for the rest of the year. But it's really about like having meetings with our policy people and talking to them about what you're concerned with, how, like, what we're planning on working on, and what we can see moving forward, and trying to have those conversations. And then attending, like, we just had an advocacy, instead of doing an advocacy day, we did an advocacy month, where we had people, advocates and people doing this work, come and be able to speak to legislators in Arizona and have conversations with them about bills that we're working on. And so, yeah, we can definitely have more discussions about this. Absolutely.
Thank you. Are there other ideas around these areas of focus or new opportunities to consider?
I guess for me, I'm wondering about the training model, like protocol response training for officers. Like, have we been doing that this whole time, or I guess my question is, like, where are we at with those things?
Good question. So, and that's one of, I think we have opportunities and challenges listed. So specifically under that, training for officers. So some of the challenges, there's some questions there. Is training required? Who does this type of training, and who can we partner with? So what I might suggest is, if we can agree on our areas of focus and opportunities, and then perhaps agree on priorities for the next couple of meetings, then at our next meeting, we can come back and dig into those areas of focus and opportunities a bit more, and identify how some action steps to move forward, and within those opportunities, identify who our critical partners will be to move the action item forward, and then what challenges it may exist and how we overcome those. How does the council feel about that?
Brandy, Laura Guild. So would this involve using the protocols that we've already put in place, spent a long time putting into place a couple of years ago, and looking at those again? And then I'm sure the training has to be ongoing and doing those. So would we be utilizing that work that's the task force, the council's already done?
Yes, we can build upon that, and we will be bringing so we did do a revision of the vulnerable adult protocols as an example. So can be bringing those back to the council for approval. So that will be in hopefully within our next council meeting if those are completed. Getting those approved and then doing an education and I think awareness opportunity of those protocols. And then we can talk about, I think training would be the next step there in implementing those protocols. So that is a good example of how this might flow moving forward.
And we also have the other protocols that are not specific to vulnerable adults that have been in place, right?
Yes, yes. Okay. And so we can revisit those as well, Laura. Okay. Good suggestion.
Would it be possible, Brandy, since there are several new members for you, I know that the protocols for the elderly, that's not, I think it was on the website in October possibly, but the other one, is it possible to send a link out to the members so that they can see what those are?
Yes, absolutely, Madam Chair. I will send that out after the meeting as well.
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, so with that, and then adding the what was suggested by council member, and I can't see her name. Which, yeah, you're. Oh,
we have
Councilmember Christine Ellis.
Christine Ellis.
Yes.
In regard to, wasn't Christine the one that had suggested with the reaching out to our lawmakers?
Yes, so I do have, if I may, Madam Chair, members of the council. So a couple of suggestions that have come up so far in the meeting today would be to add an action item or area of focus around policy. And so we can partner, it sounds like, with ACES on that, and can have legislative updates and then discuss opportunities and next steps as we hear about opportunities and policy that the council would like to participate in. Also, I heard a new opportunity in the prevention area with the podcast that the Chandler School District had administered. So looking at additional opportunities to host podcasts around domestic violence and teen dating violence. And then I also had mentioned adding to the coordination and collaboration area of focus our goals that are outlined within the Arizona Abuse in Later Life Grant.
Okay.
Are there any other suggestions?
I think Madam Chair had also mentioned that in the area of prevention, that we educate the parents also.
Thank you, Council Member. That is absolutely right. Adding parents and adults to that, not only educating the youth. Thank you very much.
This is Council Member Bandine.
Council Member Bandine, please. What would you like to offer?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would just like to add to the suggestion from our Council Member Ellis from Chandler. I'm thinking that if we included training of elected officials, like in my city in Tolleson, we could have a work study session where we can have some training and education on DV, and we could invite our elected representatives from our legislative districts to join us in these work study sessions. So that takes us from the city, the council, to our legislative districts, and then to our legislature, our House and our Senate. So I think that might be a way, and it might not be something that we do every single year, but it could be something that we could do once every couple of years, just to remind our legislators what's going on with DV. And I think it puts a little bit of, I'm going to say, pressure on them, knowing that their city council members are there representing their cities and inviting them to come learn more about DV.
So getting it more on a local level.
Yeah, I think if we do that, I know in Tolleson, we could have a work study session, invite our three DV, our representatives to come, They can see that we are interested in learning more about this. And it's so informational. I wanted to mention during the, when we were first the introductions, I did want to say to the gentleman from Fountain Hills, I wanted to reassure him that he was going to learn a lot, the new member from Fountain Hills, that he was really going to learn a lot coming to these DV meetings. Because I remember when I first started, I had so much great information, things that that I never knew was happening. And I'd go back and talk to my fire chief or my police chief. Are we doing this? Are we doing that? Trying to make sure that we were keeping up on all the great work that's being done by the DV Council.
Very good. I like that suggestion. And that we could put under the same place where we have for the, with the legislative, but just bring it to a more local level. Of course, then we have to, those councils that, would agree to do that. I think that's a good place, and we do need to get the councils more involved. Local level is where the people are. That's where they live. Any other suggestions? Okay, so we have a consensus then on what's been added, and then what was just added by Councilmember Bandine. All right, so then do I have a motion to approve the areas of focus? And including the ones that we've added today?
Madam Chair, this is Brandon Wilson. I move to approve the areas of focus with the additions that we've already discussed in this meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Councilmember Lupi Bandine seconds the motion.
Okay, call for those in favor, opposed, and abstentions. Staff will conduct a roll call for members' vote.
And just one moment, let me stop sharing my screen here. Okay. Celeste Adams.
Aye.
Zach Altman. Zach, are you still on?
Aye.
Thank you. Councilwoman Caputi.
Aye.
And Councilwoman Ellis.
Aye.
DC Ernst. DC, are you still on? Councilmember Friedel.
Aye.
Laura Gild.
Aye.
Elizabeth Herbert.
Aye.
Samantha Hinchy.
Aye.
Andy Lefevre.
Aye.
Lieutenant Levis.
Aye.
Councilwoman Norton.
Aye.
Amy Offenberg.
Aye.
And Anastasia for Chris Charlo.
Aye.
Melissa Thomas.
Aye.
And Christina Blea for Aaron Yabu.
Aye.
And the motion passes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to items.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman Bandine votes aye.
Oh, thank you. I apologize.
I don't think I'm on your list.
I'm sorry I missed you. I apologize there.
Thank you.
Actually, I had you down for the second, so that's why I didn't call your name. I apologize.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll go on to item 7, which is an update from Samantha Hinchy on behalf of the Arizona Coalition to End Sexual and Domestic Violence. Samantha?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a couple of things that are coming up. I wanted to just talk about, we're having a virtual gala on May 22nd from 5:30 to 7. We normally have a gala every year in person, but last year, unfortunately, we had to cancel it. But we're trying to do a virtual one. We would love to see all of you there and supporting the advocates and the survivors that will be featured this year, and the people. We give out awards. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a mixologist showing us how to make mocktails and cocktails for the event. And so we would really love to see you all there. And I can definitely send the flyer and the registration to Brandy when we're done with the meeting. Possibly we might do one later this year as well. We're going to be doing having a conference this year. We're really excited. We've been working really hard. Proposals went out a couple weeks ago. And I just wanted to let you all know what the 3 tracks are. So we're going to have 3 tracks, and the first one's going to be uplifting prevention. The second will be centering healing, and the last will be reclaiming justice. And that is going to be on September 14th. And I think we have a registration. I will double check. If we do, I will send it to Brandy to send out as well. The sharing experience. So the sharing, for those of you that don't know or that are new, the sharing experience is our 5-day training for domestic violence advocates around the state. We're doing them virtual right now. We're hoping to, by the end of the year, to at least do one in person, but we'll see how it goes. We're not sure yet. So they're still virtual. The registration will go out on the DV listserv on Monday. If you want to register and attend, please do it within 24 hours, because that's usually how long it takes for people to get in, for it to get filled. It gets filled very fast because it's part of our state statute that domestic violence advocates go through a 30-hour training. So we're really excited to offer that this year in June. As well as our sexual violence core advocacy training for sexual assault. And that's going to be in August from the 9th to the 13th. And I don't think I said the sharing experience dates, which is June 21st through the 25th. All right, so for my legislative update. So we are advocating for state level funding for sexual assault services fund to mirror the domestic violence services fund. This would add a line item to the state budget of approximately $5 to $8 million to be administered by DES in a competitive grants process for programs to create and expand their sexual assault services, such as sexual assault specific advocates, support groups, helplines, counselors, etc. One item from our legislative agenda is currently waiting on a 3rd read in the House and still has the opportunity to move to the governor's desk for signature. This is SB 1007. It lowers the evidence standard for terminating the parental rights of people who have committed sexual assault from which a child was conceived. Currently, if a child is conceived as a result of a sexual assault, the perpetrator can file for custody of the child unless they are convicted of the assault. Since so few sexual assaults result in a conviction, this bill lowers the evidence standard to clear and convincing, making it easier for termination of parental rights in these situations. We ask that you please talk to your legislators in your district and tell them that they should work on this bill and that they should vote for it. Much of our focus has been on supporting national efforts to pass the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, the VOCA Fix, and the Family Violence Prevention and Services Act, or FIPSA. I have talking points about what those are if you want to hear them. Otherwise, I'm going to just move on. Like we heard before from that amazing presentation by Untitled Leaf, I'm just going to reiterate what she said in case anyone missed it. CAFA and Untitled Leaf have merged. CAFA will retain its name and operate as a satellite site of Untitled Leaf beginning July 1st. And then one last thing that I wanted to let everyone know, and I can send this to Brandy as well, is that the 15th annual Domestic Violence Counts Report, Arizona Summary, just came out from the National Network to End Domestic Violence. We had 29 out of 37 domestic violence agencies report to this, where our goal is always 37 out of 37, or however many domestic violence organizations are in Arizona. But this year we got 29 out of 37. And it just basically has what happened in a day. So it's a 1 day, it's on September 10th. It's usually in September when this happens. This last year, it was on September 10th, 2020. We served 1,863 victims in 1 day. And so I'm not going to read through the whole thing so that because it'll take us forever. But I just wanted to give you that update that has been published and is out and ready to be utilized in whatever we're doing. And so I can send that to Brandy as well, so you can all take a look at it. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Samantha. Very good. And we'll look for those links and so forth to come out so everyone can get more informed on it. We'll go on to item 8. Are there any requests for future agenda items or topics of interest to this council outside of what we've discussed? Okay. No comments or suggestions? Okay, a request?
This is Laura Gill. I have one thought. I wonder if, Andy, if it'd be possible to get an update on AZ Point. Well, AZ Point would be the one.
Sorry about that. I had to find unmute again. Yes, so there was a bill that passed the legislature that clarified, and we were having some back-end policy discussions with the Department of Public Safety about how the information was going to flow ultimately into NCIC. I believe the bill clarified that it would be the Administrative Office of the Courts that would be able to handle all of that, and that seems to have been accepted and passed by the legislature. So to that end, we think that will allow that flow of information to go forward. So again, the portal, the applicant portal has been working very well. The court portal, I believe, has been working well. I think we had some concerns with some of the courts in Maricopa County that were the non-Ajax courts and the kinds of information that they were actually collecting and inputting. But I believe the AOC has been working on training with those particular courts to clean that up. And the biggest issue we had there was the Brady indicator was being done via paper instead of being entered into the AZ Point system. So for new MAG members, we went through a complete overhaul of the orders of protection system a few years ago. It was very antiquated and paper-based. It's now an electronic portal that folks that are seeking protections can access and fill out all of the paperwork. It came online in January of last year, right before the pandemic hit. So timing of it could not have been better as far as folks not having to go into an actual court facility to fill out the paperwork. Once they fill it out in the system, judges are able to ingest those forms directly into their courtrooms, rule on the forms, and then once the judge makes a ruling on whether or not the protection order is granted, it's automatically transmitted out for service to the appropriate servicing entity based on the information on the order. I think there's some enhancements going up on the law enforcement portal that they're working on right now, but I believe that so far everything seems to be working well. Laura, and I apologize, I can be ready for maybe something a little more specific at the next council meeting if you guys would like some more specifics. I think they're going to start looking at numbers and amounts of orders that have gone through and service, and I think we're hoping to see or we're hoping that the times of service and time to entering into NCIC will also have gone down, which was one of the driving factors behind the creation of the new system. So I'll be happy to answer any specific questions or try to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Can I just ask, I would really love to, Andy, I'm sorry, this is not a question for you. It's just a general question. I would really love to hear, I don't know if this is relevant, but it's just my own curiosity, but I would actually love to hear from like the law enforcement that's on the council and see how they're doing with it. And just see like, and it doesn't have to be today. I don't want to put anybody on the spot or anything, but just to hear from them as well, to know how it's going from their side. Like I hear about it from advocates a lot, like how it's going and how it's working, but I would love to hear from law enforcement and see how they're doing with the change over the last year. So that's all.
Samantha, I want to follow up. That's a great suggestion. That might be part of the presentation next time, and we can have some law enforcement on a panel too, because that whole service piece was, the big unknown. So
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah, no, it's definitely been a bit of a transition. Some entities have had to change the way that they typically did business. Maricopa County had a whole unit that was at the sheriff's office that was dedicated to this, that they've had to move back around and reassign because the individual officers are doing it. But yeah, happy to see if we can identify, even if it's some of the council folks from, Chandler PD or Gilbert PD or one of those ones that has a member on the council and see what they think. Or I can go find some ones that I know will talk really great about the system, but I'm not sure that's a fair indication of it. But yeah, I mean, look, we still get calls, we still get folks that have bugs, and we have to walk them through it. But I think we're hoping that at the end of the day, we'll see that the time of service and time of entry into NCIC is hopefully gone way down from that 25 days that it used to be, to something that makes those orders more enforceable much more quickly than what they were.
Andy, can I ask you a question? With that new system, how easily is this information getting to the actual victims for them to know how to navigate?
So obviously we have cards that we made up that are that we will send out to any police or court or advocacy organization that wants them to hand out to folks on how to access the system. When they created the applicant portal, it's very think of it very much like a TurboTax. It's got pop-ups and help boxes and things to help them navigate through it. So that they can navigate through it in both English and Spanish, and I think ways that make sense or that are intuitive. And then they also sign up for that to get electronic notifications of when the orders have been served and where they stand in that process. So the law enforcement portal on the back end, some of the enhancements that have been made is creating a color coding system so it's easier for them to see whether or not the order's been served or not served, or it's been approaching that initial 15-day period where they're having trouble finding the individual, so that perhaps the police can reach back out to the applicant and try and get some additional information to help try and serve the order. But I from an advocacy standpoint or from a organizational standpoint, I don't know if ACDVS has anything that they would like to say as far as how they're seeing the folks participate in it. But we hear good things, but or let's put it this way, I hear great things. I may not hear all the behind the scene grumblings, but my staff seems to do a good job of trying to handle that as best they can.
So then could we possibly put on as an agenda item on the next meeting for you to give us an overview of this again?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we'd be happy to do that. And we'll try and round out the kind of the three different portals per se, the applicant portal, the court portal, and the law enforcement portal. And maybe we'll get somebody from each of those to just talk a little bit about their experiences with kind of navigating through it.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other requests?
Madam Chair, this is Brennan Wilson. I'd be happy to speak on the AZ point topic for the next meeting.
Okay, great, Brandon. Thank you. Okay. All right. Anything else on this item?
Oh, not on this item. I'm sorry.
Okay. So then we will move on to item number 8. Members were provided an opportunity to share information and updates For information only, no action can be taken on these comments. Samantha, you wanted to speak on this?
I'm sorry, I actually misspoke and I did want to add something to the, I'm so
okay.
sorry.
Well, then we'll go back to item 8.
I can wait until next time.
You can add it right now. We have time, don't we?
Okay, so I don't want to bogart the time. I feel like I speak a lot. But I'd like to give an update about what we're doing around pets and domestic violence. So I'd like to talk about what Arizona is doing around the intersection of pets and domestic violence, and maybe even have one of the domestic violence agencies come and like speak about what they're doing and the partnerships that they're doing, that they're starting to begin, and like they're beginning work in this area, and just what we've been doing as well for the last couple of years. And I don't think we've talked about it before. And so, but we're doing a lot of stuff, and I think it would be nice to let you all know what we're doing.
Okay, so put that on for an agenda item for the next meeting. You be ready for that?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other?
I like that as long as there's pets involved in the presentation.
I mean, I can shove my dog on my lap. I can do my best.
Or my horse.
Yeah, bring it in.
Okay, all right. Any other requests for future agenda items or topics of interest? Okay, so now we will move on to item number 9, I'm sorry. Members are provided an opportunity to share information and updates for information. For information only, no action can be taken on these comments. Does anyone have any comments from council?
Madam Chair, this is Andy. Just a quick update if I could.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So I think I mentioned it at either the last meeting or the meeting before that, we had received a grant from OVC to stand up a statewide victim notification system that will, phase 1 will be tying it into the Department of Corrections and the 15 county jails. That's been a bit of a slow slog with us to go through the procurement process and whatnot that we needed to do. I think we're just about done with that. So I think we're hopeful that we will begin the next phase of that, which is the actual trying to get out and get it implemented, hopefully by the beginning of July or August. So it's taken a little longer than what we had hoped to do, but we are very hopeful that we will begin working on that and getting that stood up for our DOC and county jail facilities. Again, the goal there being folks will be able to get communications on when folks are being in or out of being released from jails and prisons or anything like that. And it would be done per their desire, whether that's email, text, phone call, whatever it might be. But that's still a process that is very much being handled by people right now. So lots of people making phone calls and sending letters that we are hoping that with this new system, when it comes on, we'll be able to free those folks up to do maybe actual victim advocacy work instead of just making phone calls and stuff like that. So, and the great thing about it is I think we're going to be able to work, we're going to try and partner with the Department of Economic Security because this will be a much more real-time system for folks that are heading into and out of jail and prisons. And we're hoping that we can save enough money with unemployment benefits and things like that, fraud and waste, turning those systems on and off more quickly. That will save enough money at the state level that we'll be able to pay for the ongoing operations of the system out of those cost savings to the state.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Any other comments?
I have one.
Yes. Gary Friedel, please.
Yes. So I just wanted to say that to Councilwoman Bandine's point, I watched one of your earlier videos of one of your meetings last year, and the town of Fountain Hills has now got a line item in their budget that will allow for vouchers for victims of domestic abuse if they need to relocate or go somewhere else. That's something brand new to the town, and it was brought to the town by me, and our council overwhelmingly approved it. So we now have a way to take care of victims if they need to temporarily relocate.
That is awesome. Very good. Thank you for sharing that with us. Any other comments from council?
Yeah, quick comment from Gilbert. So I've been on the council now for a few years. I recently just accepted a new position with Gilbert. I was previously one of the assistant town prosecutors handling domestic violence since 2018. Earlier this year, I'm now the public safety legal advisor. So I now advise the Gilbert Police Department and the Gilbert Fire and Rescue Department. I still plan on participating here in the DV Council in my new role. We have also Detective Wilson in the Family Violence Unit here as a detective, and our mayor, who wasn't able to be present today. She wanted me to at least say hello to everybody. She looks forward to being at the next meeting. And it looks like we're considering using a portion of our American Rescue Plan funds for our Family Advocacy Center, which is still very much in the plans here for Gilbert. So we're really looking forward to that. And I'm sure as the legal advisor, I'll be reviewing a lot of paperwork with regards to that. So I may be reaching out to some of you to get some guidance. So thank you all.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Great news that we're hearing. Any other comments?
Madam Chair, this is Andy. Just one additional comment, if I could.
Yes.
I don't know, for those of you, just so you're aware, so the funding source for our state victim assistance and victim compensation funds is very much right now tied to assessments on fines and fees. This has been going down dramatically over the last 10 years. And then with COVID, obviously, that had a huge impact. And then I believe with the passage of the marijuana legalization, we're probably going to see another hit to that fund. So just to be aware, our state level funding is down about 40% over the last 2 years for victims funding. That's primarily the Victims Compensation Fund. That's not the federal dollars that come into DPS for the VOCA assistance fund that they have. But we've made a one-time request to the legislature for funding just to get us through a year or two until we can do a better assessment. But I have a feeling we're going to have a much more serious conversation about victims funding at the state level. And if and when we get to that point, I'll certainly make this council aware of that and would be looking for potential support of whatever we're going to ask the legislature to change that to, because that's not a sustainable model at this point, and ultimately it's the victims that are going to suffer with not having that funding available to pay for the victimization costs that they can't afford. So I'll keep you updated as we go down that road, but I just wanted to make everybody aware of that.
Thanks for sharing that. Any other comments? Okay, well, thank you for all attending today, and this meeting is now adjourned. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next month. Brandy, when is our next meeting?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we meet every other month.
Every other month.
Right. I will send out that next meeting date and follow up with multiple pieces of information and links to information after this meeting today, and I'll include that next meeting date. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.